All right. Wow. It's fantastic to see everybody here today. I actually had a jacket over there, but I've replaced it with a cap. It is rather hot outside, and I would know. So it's great that everyone could forgo an extra beer and turn up here to watch our speech, my speech, Exponential Engineering and Underwater Restaurants. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I'm afraid I've used a little bit of clickbait in the title. The restaurant is not going to be the focus of the talk, but it is the vehicle which we can convey our message upon. So to all of those restaurant enthusiasts out there, okay, oh, there's one. I apologise, but there are some pretty pictures. So just what is our message? The oil crisis really hit Norway quite hard. I think all of us here in Norway understand that it was an extremely bad time. There was 40,000 jobs at its peak that were lost. But what it showed to us was a fantastic opportunity to be able to transfer all of these skills, all of these highly trained skills, across from one industry and to the next. What it also showed was that there was a change or a shift in policy and investment strategies. So what I want to show with our message is how a framework for the efficient transfer of technology and engineering skills can lead to the disruption and even the creation of new industries in the ocean space. Ta-da. So, what I want to use is some of our failures in core marine. I want to use some of the working examples, the restaurants, yay. But I also want to show you the system that we use internally and for external concepts for the transfer of ocean technology. So, before we go any further, let's just take a step back. Rewind 3 years, and I have an extremely cushy job in Oslo, just 10 minutes down the road, working offshore. And I get to go offshore, play with big boys' toys. The job has also allowed me to work in Australia, obviously, Singapore, Norway, and Scotland. So then the oil crisis hit, and I was given an ultimatum, and that was either go back to Australia or quit my job. So I did what any sane individual would do. Quit my job, moved to a ski resort, started an engineering company and founded an aquaculture company all within 6 months. Why? Well, the fish farm was just out of curiosity. But the engineering company, now that was opportunistic. So how to start an engineering company in a downturn? We had no idea, but what we did know was that we wanted to transfer these skills from oil and gas across into the wider economy. So we started Core Marine with the mantra, ocean engineering for new ocean industries. And like my year 11 physics teacher said, if you don't know how to finish a problem, just start. So we started. And enter under. It's a pretty picture. Our first operational project in Core Marine, and it was the perfect project to be able to transfer our skills. Our scope in the project included wave analysis on the restaurant, vessel stability, heavy lift engineering, and marine operational planning. It really was the perfect project. But getting a project so early in the company made us think that this transfer business was rather easy. Put it on your website, make some LinkedIn profiles. Yeah, easy. But what we found is that it was actually anything but easy. Early on, we noticed a hesitation or even a guardedness with the client and our work on the project. The complexity of our specific scope was not well understood by the client. Our procedures and our processes were inflated. There was too many of them. We were used to working with highly experienced people in the oil and gas industry, but at this point we were being questioned at every turn, at every decision we made. So we realised that there was a problem, and it wasn't unfolding The project wasn't unfolding as we wanted it to. It actually was a sinking project and not in the way that we wanted. So we had to take a step back and break down the problems into 5 key areas. The 5 key areas I've identified here. Number 1, perception. How do you perceive your own industry? And how do you think it's perceived externally? Understand your perception to be able to reassure your client. Number 2, expectations. As much as possible, reduce ambiguity. Don't live in the grey. Cross-industry projects really suffer from misunderstandings. Number 3, humble education. The very subtle art. The very, very subtle art of telling your client that he has no idea without actually telling him he has no idea. But in fact, we shouldn't have expected our client not to understand what we were doing. But once they do understand the process, then they'll be more likely to believe that you understand what's going on. Number 4, research. Quite an obvious one, but we did fail to realise the differences between our operations in oil and gas and the operations on the restaurant project. Do not assume that your experience is transferable. And number 5, establish credibility. What we found with the restaurant was that credibility was earned through time and through dedication to the project. It's the actions that count and build trust. So, through the identification and the resolution of these issues, we can happily report to all of those restaurant enthusiasts out there that the restaurant is really progressing quite well. If anyone's down in the south of Norway in the next 3 months, please come down and watch us put this beast on the seabed. So, once we worked out these lessons from the restaurant project, we wanted to formalise and put it into a system that we could use for our internal and external projects. And what we found that was really interesting is that there was lots of external projects that have been born out of this oil crisis that really needed our help. So with that, we formed MAST. MAST is our internal incubation zone for both internal and external projects, but only in the ocean industries, economies. MAST is based on our technical skills and our recent experience in the ocean industries. Importantly though, MAST only accepts ocean startups that promote the sustainable growth of the ocean economy as a resource. Within the program, concepts have access to purely technical resources. I need to stress that we don't provide links to investors, legal support, marketing. What we want to focus on is transferring our key engineering skills to the ocean economy. So, in practice and currently, MAST is actually supporting 4 new concepts in the ocean space. Offshore aquaculture, a floating offshore wind concept, ocean oasis desalination, and a structured deployment method based on floating wind. But for the purposes of explaining MAST with an example, I want to concentrate on ocean oasis, partly because I have the best pictures from it, but we'll go from there. So, Ocean Oasis was founded 10 years ago. Progress was steady but slow. It had some preliminary engineering and, as you can see, some testing. But it was one guy with a full-time job, an amazing concept, but no time. But quickly, Ocean Oasis is a wave-powered desalination device. It's pretty damn cool. Salt water to fresh water without any emissions. It's scalable, and one unit can produce enough water for 3,700 homes, and it costs the same as a diesel-driven system. So effectively, Ocean Oasis decouples the freshwater production from CO2 emissions. MAST allows us to provide tech resources at a cost that matches Ocean Oasis investment structure. The idea is that Ocean Oasis has access to technical engineering resources that only a large organisation would have access to. It enables them to scale quicker and gain investment in a quicker timescale. But look, MAST is just our name for it, and the concepts and ideas implemented can be implemented at any level, and I specifically challenge large organisations to do so. Our future vision for MAST is to provide the link between startup incubators such as Catapult and industry to the ocean space. Right now, Norway is witnessing the birth of an integrated ocean economy. It is represented in policy, it is represented in investment, and it is represented in public opinion. As the price of oil edges ever and ever higher, we cannot become complacent. Investment, both technical and financial, must be funneled to the emerging ocean industries. So we, as the new ocean leaders, must ensure that these industries have the talent and the systems to promote the sustainable use of our oceans. Thank you.